Hello and welcome back to another video. We have our December Scrawlrbox today. If you do not know what a Scrawlrbox is, it is a monthly art subscription box. It costs £16.95 for the box itself. You receive some mysterious art supplies every single month. You have a featured artist and their corresponding artwork in here, a word or phrase, which is your Scrawlr challenge, where you create a piece of artwork based on that with just the supplies in the box. There is always a lovely little sweet in there, a little sticker that is also based on the featured artwork loosely, and just it's a great time and I highly recommend you do it. I've been getting these for a couple of years now and I am never upset with what's up in the boxes, and I always create some different artwork which I wouldn't usually create. So let's just get into the box. I did pre-open this. I've just pre-opened it, so I don't know what's in here. Oh, interesting. I did see some talk on the Facebook community page about this being quite a nice box, so I'm quite excited to see what's in it. It's nice and thick here, so let's put that to one side for now. We have some toned sketch tiles. Okay, so oh, this feels nice. This is like a soft touch. Oh, it's nice. So toned paper. Okay, if I'm going to take any guesses, I would say some sort of chalk or something like that, which is not my favourite. I'm just going to put that out there before we get into the box, but it could be that, but it also could be, I don't know, some sort of medium that goes on black paper. I'm not sure. So this is the featured artwork. Okay, so I don't know if that's chalk or is this some sort of paint pen? I don't know. Interesting artwork, a bit Aztec-y type doodling. Okay, so this is the featured artist. Just pause the video here if you'd like to read a little bit more. But Yetee Ray is from Malaysia, a passionate art lover who loves to express the world using own visual language. Interesting. So I'm excited to see what this is because I still have zero clue. So I'm not going to open this Scrawlr zine. I will read through that as we test the supplies, but we will have a quick flick through at the end of this segment. So let's see what these supplies actually are. Okay, this is the sticker. So like I say, it is based on the featured artwork. We also have a Werther's Original Sweet. These are actually my favourite. I love the toffee sweets. They are very tasty. Okay, let's put that to one side so I can read off it. So let's go for this. So we have a Jelly Roll Moonlight. I love these pens. I have a full set of them. They are fantastic for going on black paper. They look really dark when you first put them down, but once the ink dries, it's really opaque and really vibrant colour. So this is a really nice addition and will really work well on that black paper that we've been given. We also have a Derwent sketching pencil 2B. Oh, look how dark that writing is. That's unusual. Looks like it's been rubbed off. But in a round barrel, which is unusual for Derwent. You usually get the hexagonal barrels. So a nice 2B pencil. We also have a Posca black marker. Oh, straight. They've not wrapped these up like they usually do. In kind of a medium size, so that'll be handy to use as well. Although we're on black paper, so I'm a bit confused where we're meant to be using black Posca. I guess to clean up lines, maybe. And then lastly, we have Spectrum Noir's metallic paint markers. Oh, I've never seen these before. Okay, so we have a range of nib sizes for each colour of metallic marker, which is very odd to me. I feel like you should just have one size nib for all three, really. But let's have a look. Ooh, nice. Oh, although they're really, those proper, like, sound like a bit of a paint, what do you call them, a spray paint can, which I quite like that metallic feel. It's all metallic, it's quite nice. So yes, we have molten copper. Let's actually get these all out. I'm not faffing with them. So in terms of size of nibs, I think it goes this way. So we have Quicksilver with a very fine nib, very fine, almost like a fine liner. Curious to see how the paint flows out of that. We then have molten copper in the thicker nib, quite a lot thicker nib. It's not a bullet nib, that. I wouldn't say. Then we have liquid gold in a chisel nib. I find that really odd that each colour is different nib sizes. Let me know in the comments below if you think the same, because Charlotte, why wouldn't you just give them all the same nib? Anyway, we will test these out. I'm sure it will take me a while to pump out the ink. We will test them out and test these on the black paper, and I will read from the zine, but let's have a quick flick through the zine first. Also, what I'm noticing is, I guess the picture might not be, like the scan might not be picking up that that's silver and that's gold, I guess. Okay, never mind, I'm not going to say what I thought I was going to say. Okay, let's flick this through. So this is telling you a little bit more about the supplies. I think they're pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. This is a little bit more about the Scrawlr artist. This might be a bit too small for you to read, but do pause it if you can read it and have a little read of that. I will sit down and read that after this. I filmed this segment. Then we have some Scrawlr tips and things to try. Like always, I will read these as I'm swatching and creating the artwork, just so we can multitask on that front. Then we have the Scrawlr gallery. So these are featured artworks from 2 boxes prior to this box. So this was the Out of the Lamp challenge, and there's some lovely ones in here. It was quite a hard one, this. It was Copic markers, which are beautiful supplies, but I think the actual Scrawlr challenge Out of the Lamp I found really difficult to think of what to do. Oh, this one's beautiful. I like this one. Oh, that's the one I follow. I thought I'd seen that before. Yeah, some beautiful ones here, some very abstract looking ones and some different takes on it. I like it. And then finally, the Scrawlr Extra. Oh, so this usually tells you a little bit about the theme and the background of the theme, but we have a little trivia here, which is nice. I'll be doing that a bit later. And then finally, our Scrawlr challenge is Out of the Darkness. So I feel like that's very much along the same lines as the Out of the Lamp, or whatever that theme was called a minute ago. Okay, so I feel like that's actually quite broad, I guess. You're on black paper, so anything you're drawing on here is technically Out of the Darkness, no? So I'm going to brainstorm. We'll do some swatches, we'll brainstorm on this first page, and then we'll create some artwork on the second page. So, like I say, I will read those Scrawlr tips and a little bit more about the supplies and things, and see what we have to work with. So let's get into that now. So I was just reading the artist's advice in our Scrawlr zine, and it's very short, and the artist just basically says, the most difficult part is getting started when doing a doodle. Once you start, then you just lay out your crazy idea and fill the page with your favourite pen. So I'm assuming they wanted us to doodle, or the artist at least had that in mind for our Scrawlr artwork. Now, I don't think personally the Scrawlr challenge alludes to that, so that's not the direction I went into, but I'm sure many people probably will maybe base it on the featured artwork that is in the box. But the things to try is very extensive. We have a few things that if you've used this type of supply like a paint marker, you will already know, but I will read them anyway. Let's just get into reading them. So firstly, get things started, shake and pump to activate the Spectrum Noir markers. As these markers are oil based, they may take a little longer to activate. It's also worth noting the Posca pens will need activating the same way. Once the metallic markers have dried, they are permanent. This means you don't have to worry about erasing your pencil line work until afterwards, as an eraser will have no effect on these pens. Blend fast. It's best to work fast and while the paint is still wet if you want to experiment with blending. Each layer will dry fully opaque. Once fully dry, you can go back over with another colour. Oil-based paints don't react to water. This means you can use them to decorate things like glass, ceramics and fabric. The black Posca dries matte onto the black paper, which creates a great contrast to the metallic finish of the other markers. It would also come in handy for correcting any mistakes or cutting back into places you want to add extra detail and fine lines to. Go slow. In contrast to the Spectrum Noir markers, it's advised to work with more patience with the Jelly Roll pens for the best results. Use slow strokes to ensure an even flow of vibrant ink. Allow time for them to fully dry to avoid smudging. These pens are super vibrant and opaque, so they layer up nicely on top of other markers for some fun effects. So that's all it says in terms of things to try. I wouldn't say there was anything spectacular in there in terms of advice, but I also think there's not much advice you can give to this. I didn't try blending with them, so I'm curious how you would blend with them, because they do dry incredibly fast. I think it would be almost impossible to blend with these markers, but if you've managed to do so, please let me know. I also agree that the black pen is perfect for adding in the black deep areas into your artwork. I do mention that at the end when we talk about the artwork a little bit, but yeah, I think those tips are pretty generic, and yeah, I guess if you've never used these supplies, they're quite helpful. So I will let you watch the rest of this artwork and then listen to me waffle on about the art at the end. There we have it. This is the final piece that I came up with. So initially I had the idea to do a lion. I actually started practicing what I wanted to do for it, and it was a nice idea, but then I thought it didn't really fit the theme of Out of the Darkness. And when I really thought about it, what came to mind was a phoenix. It comes out of the ashes, and I thought that was similar vibes, and I thought that was what we could create today. So I still find it a bit strange that these 3 markers have the 3 different nibs. It's just a bit strange when you've got them in the same pack. Why not sell them as one nib size for the whole pack and then sell several packs of different nib sizes? It's very bizarre. But anyway, annoyingly, I really would have liked all of them to have this thin nib, because I was doing a finer detail. The square piece of paper is quite small, so anything you do on there is going to require a little bit more detail unless you are filling in a big patch of flat colour. So annoyingly, the Phoenix is warm colours, both the copper and the gold, and therefore I had to use the thicker nibs. Luckily the chisel nib I could turn on its side and use the thinner part of it, but annoyingly with the copper there was just no way to get any line variation with that. It's just so thick, it was just laying on thick. And so I did my base of gold and I went over with the copper, and then I kind of thought I'll neaten it up by going back over with the gold, which worked somewhat, but I must admit they don't really lay on top of each other the greatest unless your pen is kind of really saturated with ink. Like if it starts to dry out a little bit, it just will not overlay on top of the other metallic ink, which is a bit of a shame, but I mean it works somewhat. In terms of the Moonlight Jelly Roll, it kind of didn't fit in with what I was creating. I did add a little bit of colour into the beak and the eye, but that's all I really use this for. But I have used these and they are beautiful. As you can see from the swatching, it is a fantastic pen. It really shows up, and the range of colours you can get. I think this box you could either get the pink or the purple, but the range of colours in their actual sets are fantastic, and I urge anyone to go and get those if you're a bullet journalist or kind of create notes or anything like that. These are fantastic pens for that sort of thing. What I was concerned about was that the Spectrum Noir are actually oil-based. It says on the card that these are oil-based pens, so I was a little bit concerned whether the Posca would go over the top, because the saying when you're using acrylic paints and oil paints is that you can have acrylic under oils, but you cannot have acrylics over oils. So I was concerned. I did do a few tests and they actually lay over one another really, really well. There's no problem with that. So actually using this to clean up your artwork on the black paper is actually perfect. It does work really well. So I did utilize that a little bit. I actually used it to add some shading back in because the metallic markers were so thick. I was able to then add the detail back in with that black marker, so they were really nice. And all of these are really nice on this paper. They're so metallic, they're beautiful. If I used metallics more, I think I would really love to have these in my collection of pens, and I probably will try these out a little bit more on this paper. And I still can't get over how lovely and soft the front cover of this paper is. It's fantastic, it's beautiful, and I wonder why they've gone to so much effort to make the front so soft and nice. I don't know. The pencil, again, like I say in all my videos, there's not much to say about pencil. A pencil is a pencil. However, I did notice this has rubbed off. This is meant to be white, this writing, but also the pencil felt softer than a 2B. I don't know, 2Bs are my favourite hardness of pencil, and this felt a little bit softer, but I don't know whether that's just me not sketching with the 2B for a little while. I'm not really sure, but to me it felt a little soft. But all in all, I really rate these supplies. They're very nice. I can see what everyone's hype was about when people started receiving this box, and I must admit, if you use metallics in your artwork on a daily basis, this is great to add to your collection. It's beautiful. And I think that's it. That's a wrap for this video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.